You have been patient for far too long with this person, and somewhere in the depths of their soul, they know this truth intimately. They can feel the weight of your absence pressing against their chest like a heavy stone, following them through every waking moment like a shadow that refuses to let them forget. For what feels like an eternity, they made you wait, caught in their own maze of pride, confusion, and overwhelming fear. And now, regret has become their constant companion, consuming them from the inside out. They are rushing back into your life, their heart filled with crushing guilt and burning shame for the way they left everything suspended in painful uncertainty. Without offering you any solid reason or meaningful explanation, they simply pulled away, leaving you alone in the darkness, questioning everything you thought you knew. Every assumption you had made, every hope you had nurtured, every dream you had built together suddenly crumbled into dust. But now, standing in the ruins of their own choices, they realize with startling clarity just how much that silence cost them. Every single moment they spent away from you only amplified the cavernous emptiness in their heart, creating a void that nothing and no one else could fill. The loneliness grew louder with each passing day, until it became a deafening roar they could no longer ignore. They are ready now, truly ready, to do whatever it takes to make things right between you. They want to earn back the trust they so carelessly shattered, to rebuild what they thoughtlessly destroyed, and to prove beyond any shadow of doubt that they are no longer the same person who walked away. This person knows, with a certainty that keeps them awake at night, that they made a terrible mistake. They chose the wrong people, invested in the wrong situations, and prioritized the wrong things over you. At the time, they actually convinced themselves that they were doing what was best, perhaps even believing in some twisted way that leaving you behind was the right decision for everyone involved. But now, they are suffering deeply for those choices. The very decisions they once defended with such conviction are the ones that haunt them most relentlessly in the quiet hours of the night. The people they trusted so completely turned out to be unreliable and self-serving, and the situations they pursued with such determination only led them deeper into chaos and confusion. In losing you, they lost the one person who genuinely cared for them without conditions, without ulterior motives, without keeping score. You loved them simply for who they were, flaws and all, and they threw that precious gift away. It is only now, standing alone in the wreckage of their own misguided decisions, that they can see the truth with such painful clarity. You were never the problem they needed to escape from. You were the peace they had been searching for all along, the calm in the storm, the lighthouse guiding them home. But they were too blind, too scared, too caught up in their own fears to recognize what they had until it was gone. Your person hurt you deeply, and they are fully, completely aware of that fact. They remember with vivid precision the look in your eyes when you realized they were slipping away, that devastating mixture of confusion, sadness, and profound disappointment that broke their heart even as they caused it. They cannot escape the memory of that moment, no matter how desperately they try. No matter how much time passes, no matter how far they run, that image follows them everywhere. It haunts their dreams and intrudes upon their waking thoughts, a constant reminder of the pain they inflicted on the person they love most. Now they are the one crying, the one lying awake at night staring at the ceiling, wondering if you could ever find it in your heart to forgive them. They replay the moments between you over and over again in their mind like a film stuck on repeat, wishing with every fiber of their being that they had done things differently. Each memory is a knife that twists a little deeper, reminding them of what they had and what they lost through their own foolishness. They wonder constantly if you would be willing to hear them out, to listen to the feelings they buried so deep inside, feelings they never expressed because they were absolutely terrified of being vulnerable. They wore a carefully constructed mask of indifference, pretending not to care, acting as though your connection meant nothing special, when in truth they cared more than they could ever admit, even to themselves. It was fear that kept them silent, fear of rejection, fear of true intimacy, fear of being seen for who they really are beneath all the protective layers they had built over the years. But now that silence has become their prison, and the walls are closing in. Every word they did not say, every emotion they refused to show, every moment of authentic connection they turned away from now weighs heavily on their heart like chains they cannot break. They are learning the hard way, through sleepless nights and tears shed in solitude, that vulnerability is not weakness as they once believed. It is actually love in its truest, most courageous form. It takes strength to open your heart completely, to let someone see all of you, and they wish they had possessed that strength when it mattered most. Your person knows with absolute certainty that their inconsistent behavior pushed you away. They recognize now how their indecision, their mixed signals, and their hot and cold attitude drained you emotionally, leaving you exhausted and confused. One day they were all in, showering you with affection and attention, and the next they were distant and cold, leaving you wondering what you had done wrong. They can sense that you have finally pulled back your energy, reclaiming your power and protecting your peace. And while they admire your strength, your ability to walk away from what was hurting you, it also terrifies them to their core. They are watching you from afar now, loving you silently from a distance they themselves created. But it is an unbearable kind of love, one that burns and aches in the absence of communication and connection. Every time they think of reaching out, every time their fingers hover over their phone to send you a message, fear and shame hold them back. They wonder if you have moved on, if you have found someone else who treats you the way you deserve, if your heart still carries even a trace of what once was between you. But even in the deafening silence, even across the distance, their heart continues to speak your name like a prayer, like a wish, like a promise they are still learning how to keep. Right now, in this very moment, your person feels deeply uncomfortable in their messy life situation. They are surrounded by confusion, instability, and emotional turmoil that seems to touch every aspect of their existence. Nothing seems to be working out the way they planned, and they are beginning to understand with growing clarity that it is because they walked away from the one person who grounded them, who kept them centered and focused. You were their calm in the storm, the steady presence that could quiet the chaos in their mind. You were the person who could see light even in their darkest moments, who believed in them when they could not believe in themselves. Without your presence, life feels exponentially harder, heavier, and lonelier than they ever imagined it could. They miss the comfort of your understanding, the way it felt to be truly seen and accepted by another person. They miss the way you supported them without judgment, without conditions, without making them feel small or inadequate. They now realize, with a clarity that comes only from loss, that your emotional support was not something to take for granted, not a given that would always be there. It was their greatest motivation, the force that helped them face life's challenges with courage and determination. Without you, everything feels fundamentally out of balance, as though they are walking through life slightly off kilter, never quite steady on their feet. This longing they feel is not just about missing your voice or your touch, though they ache for those things too. It runs far deeper than physical presence. It is about missing the profound emotional safety they felt when they were with you, that rare and precious feeling of being completely at home in another person's presence. You were their safe place, their emotional sanctuary, the one space in the world where they could let down all their defenses and just be themselves without fear. You were their home in the truest sense of the word, and now they wander through life feeling homeless and lost. Now, they crave that sense of belonging again with an intensity that sometimes frightens them. But they understand with painful clarity that they cannot simply step back into your life as though nothing happened. They cannot expect you to welcome them with open arms after the way they left, after the silence, after the pain. They know they have to earn your forgiveness, not just ask for it and expect it to be granted. They must prove through consistent actions, not just empty words, that they have truly changed, that they have learned and grown from their mistakes. And though the road to redemption feels impossibly long, though the journey ahead seems daunting and uncertain, they are willing to walk it step by difficult step if it means having another chance with you. They understand that rebuilding trust takes time, that healing requires patience, that love demands more than grand gestures and pretty promises. They are prepared now, in a way they were not before, to do the real work that authentic connection requires. In the end, it has become crystal clear that this person truly loves you with a depth and sincerity that surprises even them. They may have run from you, may have fled in fear and confusion, but in doing so, they discovered where their heart and soul truly belong. They had to lose you to understand your value, to see with startling clarity how deeply intertwined you are with their sense of happiness, peace, and purpose. This separation, as painful as it has been, became their greatest teacher and most profound lesson. It forced them to confront their deepest fears, to examine their unhealed wounds, and to recognize the destructive emotional patterns that kept them from embracing love fully and freely. Now they want to heal those wounds, not just for their own sake, but for you, for the relationship, for the future they hope to build together. They are learning to let go of past trauma, to break free from the chains of pain that once dictated their choices and controlled their behavior. They do not want to repeat old cycles or let pride and fear ruin something beautiful again, something rare and precious that most people spend their entire lives searching for. Instead, they want a fresh start, a clean slate, and the opportunity to show you a more mature, grounded, and emotionally open version of themselves. They want to demonstrate through their actions, day after day, that they have become someone worthy of your trust and love. This person knows it will not be easy. They harbor no illusions about the difficulty of the path ahead. They know that words alone will not erase the past or heal the hurt they caused. But their heart is sincere, more sincere than it has ever been. They want to rebuild what was broken, to grow into a better version of themselves, and to love you the way you have always deserved to be loved, with consistency, honesty, and unwavering commitment. Sometimes people need to lose everything they hold dear to realize what truly matters in life. And for them, that profound realization has finally, at long last, arrived. Their heart, no matter how far it strayed, no matter how long it wandered in the wilderness, has found its way back to you. And this time, they are determined not to let fear or pride or confusion push them away again. This time, they are ready to stay, to fight for what matters, to choose love over fear. This time, they understand that you are worth every ounce of effort, every moment of vulnerability, every step of the journey ahead.